Hello and welcome to our overview of the French student visa application process for fall 2023 enrollment at the American University of Paris. I'm Jacqueline Oberdorster, Director of U.S. Admissions at AUP, and I'll be walking you through the steps required to apply for your French student visa from the United States and how to avoid some common mistakes that could otherwise end up delaying the issuance of your visa. This presentation will be specific to students applying for a French student visa from the United States. To check the process for your country, including whether the Campus France procedure will be required, please look up your country's visa instructions on the France Visas website. To apply for your French student visa, you will first fill out an application online with Campus France. You'll make an account with their application portal called Études en France or Studies in France, and then complete the online application form. Once the Campus France online application is complete, you'll go to their payment portal to submit payment. The next step will be to make an account on the France Visas website and fill out an application form that you'll then print and bring into your final step, which is an in-person visa appointment at a VFS Global Center. Your VFS Global appointment must take place after your Campus France online application has been processed, which can take about 3 weeks. You'll turn in some paperwork at the appointment, including the France Visas printed application form and your passport. Your visa will then be created and attached to your passport, and they will both be mailed back to you. If you will be under 18 years old when you arrive in France, please speak with your admissions counselor to confirm if you should apply for a minor student visa. The minor student visa process does not use the online Campus France application, which is where most students will begin for the regular student visa. Minors will skip directly to the France Visas website and application form, which you will print out rather than submit electronically, and they'll also attend the in-person VFS Global appointment. Minors will also need to bring some additional materials to their visa appointment with them, which will include things like a birth certificate, parent identification, and a parent travel authorization letter. For those that will be 18 and above, we'll continue with the standard French student visa application process, starting with the online Campus France application. So you can submit your online Campus France application within about a month of graduating from high school. So we recommend doing this in April or May so that you'll be able to do the next step, the in-person visa appointment in June. If you're planning on arriving at AUP for the spring semester in January, you'll want to be able to attend the in-person visa appointment no later than early December. So there's a few items that you'll need to have ready to upload to your online Campus France application. It's important to note that all files can be in either JPEG or PDF format. Your official acceptance letter, for example, is located on the AUP status page as a PDF. So that should already be set for you, but you will need to save it separately as its own file that's no larger than 300 kilobytes. You'll also need a headshot photo, and that cannot be over 50 kilobytes. If you have trouble uploading anything, it's very often a file size issue with Campus France. So you can send a file to your admissions counselor if you need help resizing it. So you will need your official acceptance letter from AUP, and we'll go over what that looks like in a little bit. Your diploma or transcripts. So they're going to be checking for proof that you've completed high school before arriving. If you are currently in high school and you're using transcripts instead of a diploma, the transcripts need to list your graduation date. If your transcripts don't include your final spring grades, that's okay, as long as they include at least your final fall semester grades from fall of 2021. If you are applying for the spring 2023 semester, then you should have your final spring or summer 2022 grades included on your transcripts. For those that are still in high school, what you can also do is submit a letter from your counselor confirming that you have either graduated or that you're on track to graduate with a graduation date included. So a very common mistake that some students make is submitting a copy of their high school transcript that doesn't have the graduation date listed. So this delays the processing of your application. So to be sure in this case, to make sure that you have this letter from your counselor. If you are a visiting study abroad or co-op student, a transfer student, or graduate student, you can upload current or most recent college transcripts instead. You'll also need a resume or a list of activities, so very similar to what you have submitted for your application to AUP. You'll need a few sentences to copy and paste about the reasons you're studying abroad in France, particularly in terms of your personal, academic, and career goals. Your statement should be at least 150 words, but does not need to be lengthy. You will also need your passport ID page and a passport-like headshot photo. So you can take this yourself and crop it around your head, but again, note that it must be very small, so a maximum of only 50 kilobytes. All right, so this is the main Campus France USA page at usa.campusfrance.org. At the top, you will open the Apply menu and then right-click on Application Overview so that it opens up a new tab. It will take you to a website that looks like this. So what we're going to do is scroll down the page. And then now you'll see that they've outlined the process into 4 steps and that it contains some helpful links. And since you have it open in a new tab, you can refer to it anytime if needed throughout the visa application process. For step 1, you can click the link to go to their application guide for Études en France, which is the application portal for Campus France. However, this presentation will go over everything you need to know. So it's not necessary for you to read through their guide. You will need to come back to this page, however, after you complete the Campus France application in order to pay the fee. So make sure that you keep this tab open. And so in the meantime, we'll go back to the other tab or usa.campusfrance.org to access the Études en France application portal, or you can get there by right-clicking on the Campus France icon in the upper left-hand corner circled here. So you're going to scroll down on the usa.campusfrance.org page and click on the link that says Apply to Études en France, which you'll see here. And then you can see this main page for Études en France, and it may already appear in English or it may still be in French. You can translate the page using the buttons in the upper right-hand corner. This is also where you should click Sign Up to create your account. Your browser might give you the option to auto-translate any of these pages from French to English. You do not want the browser to translate these pages, so select No or Not Now. This is another common error that could lead to your application not matching what you're about to see in this presentation. So instead, you will want to click on EN, which will show up after you do this page, so that you have the English version of the application. So again, the browser translation of French will look different than the actual English version of the website. So you'll need to select their English page option in order to follow along with our instructions. And I'll show you where to find that for each website. So on the registration page, you're going to start with a drop-down menu for each country that uses Campus France. This menu will appear in French, and there's no way to translate it for now. But after we select the United States, then there will be the option to change it into English. So in French, United States is États-Unis. So scroll down to find eSpace Campus France États-Unis circled here. So you will see here that it is in French. So what you want to do is circle the EN at the top right corner, and now you'll get the English version. So the first 2 sections are your permanent email address. I want to make sure we're on the right one. Yes. Okay, so you'll take this in twice, and then the rest of this page is going to ask you for basic information to set up your account. Information should match your passport exactly, such as the spelling of your name, your gender, date of birth, and place of birth. The type of ID will be passport, and you will enter the expiration date and the passport number. Note that this form will ask for dates in the European format of date, month, and then year. So you'll want to make sure at the very bottom that at least the first check mark is selected in those boxes. You can choose to receive email from Campus France about other opportunities, but that first box must be clicked. And then you'll click Create My Account at the very bottom. Once you've completed the registration for your Études en France account, you'll receive an email asking you to validate the account to the email address you've listed. I will note that at this time in June of 2022, the website has recently updated, so many students are experiencing some error messages, some glitches. They're never receiving the email to open their account, or they're having trouble submitting. Just know that the French Ministry of Education is working to correct these, as well as Campus France. And if you have any issues, you can always email washington@campusfrance.org. And we'll show you that email address again at the end. But for those of you that are able to successfully create an account and log in, this is what you will see. So you'll come to this page and you're going to select students already accepted, circled here. Here's another common mistake. Some students will choose students not yet accepted. So the Études en France application can also be used to apply to French universities, which is their form for students not yet accepted. You've already been admitted to a university in France, so that's why you'll select students already accepted, the second option circled here. You will also see your name and your Campus France ID number in the upper right-hand corner. You'll need this ID number for the next few steps of the visa process. So copy this number down, or at least remember where to find it. It will also be called your EEF ID, which stands for Études en France, and you will need it for the other steps of the visa application process. So you're going to click to open the finalize the procedure section, and then in the dropdown, you are going to see either I am a study abroad student, or I am not. So for anyone who is a first-year student, a first-year abroad student, meaning those that are working with GW, USC, or Tulane, for transfer students and for graduate students, they will all choose I am not a study abroad student. If you're a visiting student, which means that you are enrolled at a home institution elsewhere, then you're going to click that you are a study abroad student. So here's a quick look at how the page will look if you are a study abroad student. So again, this is only for those students that are enrolled in college elsewhere and they're just coming to visit us for a semester or for a year. So you should only be choosing this option, again, if you're just visiting AUP and then you're going back to that university. This is not your selection if you're a first year abroad student or a first year gap year student. So we'll come to those in a minute. You can see here that you'll fill out your home institution in the US, your host institution in France, that's AUP, and describe your program. You can write a short explanation about your major and then what you'll be studying at AUP for the semester or the year. Now we'll go through the steps for students that are not study abroad and are coming to AUP for at least a full year or longer. So if you are a one semester first year abroad student or a gap semester student, we'll come back to you in a minute. So that's specifically talking to our USC spring admit students and anyone who just graduated high school and they're just going to be with us for a semester before going elsewhere. So this does not apply to you for this slide. If you are a full year and longer student, in the situation section, choose the second bubble. I am in another situation, and then select other from the drop-down menu. Under program search, only students that are enrolling in a degree seeking program at AUP, so again, first year transfer graduate students, will search for a program in the catalog. So again, if you're a first year, if you're a 1 year first year abroad, like the USC TTP or the GW, you're going to, or a transfer student or a graduate student, select I found my program in the catalog, and then click on the blue search a program in the catalog button. Type in AUP and then hit search. If you are an undergraduate student, you will choose the first option for the bachelor's degree program, and the graduate students will choose the second option for the master's program. If you are, so then you're going to choose your year of enrollment from the drop-down menu. If you're transferring credits, you can estimate your year of enrollment here. And then for the site, you're going to choose Site de Paris, since that's our only campus option in Paris. Then click the blue bar at the bottom that says select the program to finalize the catalog search. So then back on the program details page, and make sure that all the information looks correct. In section 4, you can then fill out the start date of the program, again in the date, month, year format. Copy the date from your official acceptance letter exactly. And then section 5 will ask you for your personal statement. So again, just write a short statement about your motivations for studying at AUP and in Paris, and how this will affect and help your future career goals. So we just looked at how to fill in the program details if you're a study abroad student, a degree seeking student at AUP, or a full year first year visiting student. So now we're going to look at what to do for coming to AUP as a first year student. So you're not a study abroad student under the French consulate's rules, and you're only staying for 1 semester, not a full year. So this is going to include gap semester students, And it will also include our first year abroad programs for the USC fall semester in Paris and the Tulane Spring Scholars programs. So this will apply to you. You're still going to choose for section 1, I am in another situation, and then click other. But for section 2, you're going to choose I did not find my program in the catalog and fill in a short form, including a description where you can explain that you're studying at AUP for a semester. In section 3, you'll click to find your French institution and then search for AUP and enter both the start and end dates to match the dates on your official acceptance letter. And then finally, just like degree seeking students, you're going to write a few sentences about your motivation for studying abroad in Paris and how this will complement your area of study or your future goals. At the end of the program details, all students will upload your official acceptance letter from your AUP enrollment documents. Remember that this file needs to be under 300 kilobytes. So if your file won't upload, just check the size. And then here is an image of what your official acceptance letter looks like, so you know that you're using the right document. So note that this is not the email that you received to congratulate you on your acceptance to AUP. This is an official document that is in both English and French with the AUP logo on top. If you're not sure if you have access to the correct document, which is available on your AUP status page, just contact your counselor and they can help you out. Under that header, Acquis de Droit, you can find your program dates. You'll want to enter these same dates when your visa application form asks for your start and end dates. And then at the end, there's a paragraph in French, which is about your housing to explain that AUP is responsible for your housing accommodations in Paris. The address that we ask you to use is 10 Rue de Musset. So you're going to also use that in your next application form. It doesn't necessarily mean that's where your housing's been assigned. It's just what we're asking you to use for the visa application. Okay, so once you've uploaded your acceptance letter, you would take them back to the main page where your main study program box in the first section should have the correct information. It should say complete in green at the top of the page, and then on the bottom, under where you uploaded your official acceptance letter, so you can see that here. You can now click on register, and it will take you back to the page where you began. So then you're going to want to scroll down, and in the personal information section, you'll verify all the personal information that you already filled out when you did your initial registration. So most of this will autocomplete. For identity photograph, upload a passport-like headshot photo. This could be a photo you crop around your face, but remember it must be very, very small, only 50 kilobytes maximum. Email admissions@aup.edu if you're having difficulty resizing your photo to be small enough, and we'd be happy to help. And then in the second section, it's going to ask for a copy of your photo ID. So that should be a photo or scan of the ID page of your passport. When you get to the personal or the special status section, you're going to choose my situation doesn't apply to any of the above. And then under the education and professional experiences tab, you're going to upload a resume. So this can be a list of any extracurricular involvement similar to the list of activities you submitted for your admissions application. And then under mon cursus, you're going to identify how much education you've completed. Make your selection from the drop-down menu and then click the blue add button. So the selection here is going to vary based on your own status and how much education you've completed. So a transfer student or a graduate student is going to have a different answer here than someone coming in straight from high school. So then a menu will pop up for you to fill in your school information, either high school or college, depending on what you selected in the previous menu. Then they're going to ask you to upload a copy of your high school diploma or college transcripts. So if you don't have your diploma, again, you can upload your high school transcripts if they list your graduation date, or you can upload a letter from your high school verifying your graduation status with an anticipated graduation date. Please do not upload a copy of your high school transcripts without a graduation date. This could cause a delay in your Campus Grants application being processed. So next is the language skills section. The top question about proficiency exams is only asking about official French exams like the DELF. If you haven't taken that, skip that section. And then in level of French, you'll only have some French education if you've attended a French immersion school or a French lycée here in the States. Taking a French class does not mean that part of your education was in French. So the second option, I have studied French, is for students who have taken some French as a class. Most of you will skip the stays in France section unless you've studied abroad in France before. And then you're going to fill out your native language section in the I have studied English section. So you can choose native language or fill in just what works best for your situation. At the very bottom of the page, you're going to click back, and that's going to bring you back to the overview page. Now that both your program and personal information sections should have the green complete notification. So you're now able to hit confirm the information and submit the application. Your application will be submitted to Campus France. However, it will not be finalized and finished or processed until you complete step 2, which is the application fee payment. So I have brought us back to that Campus France website outlining the application overview. And so now for step 2, you'll be linked to the Campus France application fee portal where you'll pay your fee. You will need your Campus France ID, again, also known as your EEF ID number, in order to complete the payment. So remember that this is the ID number located in the upper right-hand corner when you're logged into the Études en France application portal. It is very important that you complete this step. Your Campus France application will not be reviewed until you've submitted payment. You also won't hear anything from them unless you do this. You'll see the option to pay for either regular or expedited processing. So regular processing takes up to 3 weeks, expedited takes up to 3 days. So once again, here's the Campus France website. We have completed both steps 1 and 2. So we're moving on to the France visas part with step 3. This is also where any minors that will be under 18 and applying for the school going minor visa will join us and begin their application process. So you'll click on the blue My Account button in the upper right corner to create an account. You can also change the text into English using the drop-down language menu in the upper right-hand corner. Then scroll down and click Step 2, Start your visa application online. Step 1 is just a questionnaire to see if you need a visa. You likely already know you do, but if you have any special circumstances that you'd like to check, you can use the Visa Wizard there to enter your information and confirm your application procedure. And then once you've clicked to start your visa application, you'll start with current nationality to match your passport, and then we'll scroll down. Next is place of submission. This is the United States if you'll be applying from the United States. City of submission will select which VFS Global Center you're going to visit. Visa type is long stay, even if you're a 1 semester student. You can round out your months of stay, and you can choose more than 1 year if you'll be staying at AUP for more than 1 year. For travel document, copy details from your passport, including issuing country, passport number, date of issue, and expiration date. At the bottom, indicate your plans are to study and your purpose is student. If you're applying as a minor, you will choose that your plans are to study, and then your purpose is going to be minor student - individual stay. Then you'll fill out basic information about yourself. And again, this should match your passport. Remember that dates are in the European format, date, month, year. And then minor students will also be asked to enter information about their parents. All the way at the bottom of the personal information section, you'll be asked about your job. Your job is student, and then sector will be other. It will ask for employer or teaching establishment, and AUP is your teaching establishment. So fill in our name and contact details, which you can see here. Next, it will ask if you've had a visa before, in case you've studied abroad in the past or have stayed in France long-term. Otherwise, you will just answer no here. It'll ask you for your start date. Again, this is going to match your official acceptance letter. Plan duration can be 12 months if you're planning to stay at AUP long-term. You'll be issued a 12-month visa that you will renew each spring, or you can enter a shorter term if you're only staying 1 semester. EEF number, again, is your Études en France number, which is your Campus France ID number, which appears in the upper right corner when you're logged into the Campus France Études en France application form that we just filled out. And then you can answer no to the scholarship question since we aren't awarding state scholarships, and then answer no to the travel with family questions since you aren't all receiving visas together as a family. For accommodations, select that a company, organization, or establishment will be hosting me. That organization is AUP, and again, you're going to enter our contact details as seen here. And then you can select that your place of accommodation is different. And here you'll enter AUP's name once more, and then the housing address from the bottom of your official acceptance letter. So again, this address is 10 Rue de Musée. At the end, it's going to ask about how you are funding travel costs. So you should select myself here and then select what you'll be using to pay for AUP. You're going to need to bring financial details with you to your visa appointment. We'll talk more about that in a moment, but this selection should match the type of financial documents you'll be bringing with you. If you're paying out of pocket, you can select cash, or if you're using student loans, select other and write in loans. You'll then be bringing bank account information or your student loan details with you to your visa appointment. And then on the final page, you should be able to see that each section is confirmed in green. You can click the pen icon to edit any sections from this page. If you're all done, click the checkbox to declare it is all correct and complete and select continue. Remember that you must print this application out and bring it with you to your VFS Global Visa appointment. This application does not submit online. Back on the France Visas website, you've completed step 2. So now go to step 3, submit your application. Further down the page, you'll see instructions for, this brings you to a landing page for the United States. If at any time you need to check which centers are available, you can refer to this page. Okay, so now further down the page, you'll see instructions for applying for a visa. Click the first button, whom should I contact, to find details about VFS Global Centers in the United States. You'll see the 9 VFS centers in the US listed at the top, and scroll down to find an address and contact information. You do need to attend a visa appointment in person, and this means you may need to travel to attend your appointment. So take note of which VFS location will be the most convenient for you. You can click book an appointment next to any location here, and they'll take you to the VFS Global website, where you'll create a new login and then book an appointment with any VFS Global Center. Remember that you will need to follow these visa instructions in order. So you can go ahead and schedule your visa appointment after you submit your Campus France application, but your appointment must take place after your Campus France application has been processed. So you should be leaving at least a 3-week window between paying your Campus France application fee and your VFS Global Center visa appointment, or a 3-day window if you're paying for expedited processing. There is no way to expedite the visa application review. So after you attend your VFS appointment, there's no way to speed that up. The only part that you can expedite is just the Campus France portion. And we'd like for you to keep in touch with us about your visa progress. So please update your progress on your AUP status page. For example, once you've submitted your Campus France application and when you have made a VFS appointment, and include the date so that we know you're on track for arrival. When you attend a VFS appointment, you will turn in your passport and visa paperwork, which will then be sent to the French consulate in Washington, D.C. for your visa to be issued. It'll be attached to your passport and then mailed back to you. This process can take a few weeks, so keep that in mind as you plan ahead, especially if you have international travel planned over the summer. So VFS is going to email you a list of what you'll need to bring to your appointment, but here's what you should plan to include. Both of the documents from your enrollment documents on the AUP status page, so your official acceptance letter and your certificat d'assurance, your certificate of insurance. You'll also need the email from Campus France that says your application's been processed. You'll need an electronic acceptance letter from Campus France as well, which will be available on your Etudes en France portal once your Campus France application has been successfully processed. You'll need your completed and printed application from the France Visas website. And when you complete that application, the website will also generate a registration receipt with a barcode on top. Print that and bring it with you too. You will also need 2 passport photos, and then of course your passport, which should be valid at least through August of 2023, and a photocopy of your passport ID page. As we mentioned earlier, you are going to need to bring financial information showing that you can cover tuition plus an extra 615 euros per month for living costs. If you're using loans at AUP and you've submitted your loan plan and we verified that your loans are all set, we can issue you a letter that you can bring to your appointment. If you're paying out of pocket, you'll need to bring 3 months of bank statements. And if these are in someone else's name, such as a parent, which is the most common, we can give you, you can actually access on your AUP status page a financial guarantee form that the account holder will sign to verify that you have access to those funds. Please note that this form will also need to be notarized, so account for that. Since your passport and visa will be mailed back to you, bring proof of your address, such as a driver's license or state ID. And then if you're under 18, additional items will be needed, such as birth certificate, a letter from your parents authorizing your travel, and parent identification. If you'll be applying for the minor visa, make sure to talk with your admissions counselor, or you can follow along with the steps on your AUP status page, just so that you get your specific visa instructions. Something to note is that the France Visas website has recently begun accepting digital uploads of these documents. This is a requirement, and it is not a requirement, I'm sorry, and it is optional. So it is not going to expedite the review of your visa application, but it may help your in-person visa appointment go a little quicker. In either case, even if you upload all your documents, you're still going to need to bring paper copies of everything with you. It's totally fine to just bypass the uploading step and then just submit your application as is. And that's it. So there are a lot of steps involved, but we hope that this helps to explain what you'll need to do to apply for your visa. Remember that visas are issued by the French authorities, not by AUP. This guide is intended to help you along this process as much as possible, but the process or fees are subject to change, so pay attention to the websites that we mentioned and any instructions that you're sent by Campus France, your VFS Center, or the French Consulate. Once your materials are sent from the VFS Center to the French Consulate, it's possible that they will email you if they need anything else. So watch your emails and let your admissions counselor know if they can help you out in any way. Your admissions counselor can also provide you with a visa checklist PDF guide that includes these steps and some of the more frequently asked questions to help you stay on track. Please continue to update us by logging your progress on your AUP status page. We'll ask you the date you submitted and paid for Campus France, the date of your visa appointment, and when you received your visa. We have our admissions email address here and the Campus France email address, and we hope that you are now prepared to get started. We're so glad that you will be joining us this fall, and we'll see you soon in Paris. À bientôt.